up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. We're coming off of Thanksgiving, and our members and experts had a ton to be thankful for last week. Let's get to the winners. In the NBA streets, Ash Frank NFL won $1,500. NYG Fan used AP's heat map to win $1,800. D-Rex26 hit for $4,500, and new subscriber Tom hit for $15K. Fur PBC shipped for $33K, while the Man 11 had yet another huge payday, shipping for $100,000. RPS continues to dominate all sports, including World Cup soccer. Our team has been crushing it with the content, and we have the receipts to prove it. Go Boys 18 hit for $1K. New member Wes Ray won over $1,300. Jaime's content helped Poker Pastor get through a tough time, hitting for $2K. Big T won over $20K. Rubio's hard work grinding out soccer content paid off with a $20K shipper. Well, the biggest winner was RPS member Eddie, who turned $500 into over $30,000. Our NFL content has been on fire all season, and we didn't let the Thanksgiving holiday slow us down. We have plenty of free content available on our YouTube channel daily, so make sure to subscribe right now to access the winners. DK for 5 hit big on Thanksgiving, winning $10K. C Jacobs 986 joined him, shipping for $15K. On the main slate, Racing Jason 910 hit for over $6K. LT Dog 24 shipped for $50K, while my own heater continued, winning my first FFWCC. For Showdown, our guy Hoop was a big winner, shipping for over $100K across sites. He used his core plays laid out for our premium members, including a low-owned Jelani Woods, who ended up breaking the slate. Shout out to YGuy223, who won over $9K as well. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
What is going on? Happy Wednesday and welcome to the first look over here on Run Pure Sports. I'm Eric Crain, joined as I am. It feels like it's been forever. We skipped last week with Thanksgiving. The week before, I guess we were on, but it feels longer than 2 weeks. AP, Locks. AP, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, doing very good. I missed the show last week. I mean, I missed doing it with you guys. I fell off. I got talked on to all kinds of chalk, and it was painful last week because it all busted. But this is the GPP First Look Show. We're talking tournament plays here. I'm not going to let these chalk plays get to me this week. I'm going to tell you that.
You're going to throw Jeff Wilson in the trash. You're going to throw Michael Carter in the trash and move on.
Oh, so painful. Michael Carter.
Sucked, man. Man, it sucked. Like I got on him late last week too. Obviously, when James Robinson was ruled out, it was like, oh, Michael Carter, great spot. And he just did absolutely nothing. But who's going to do something for us? It's Locks. Locks, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Ate the same chalk as you guys last week, apparently. So, I was not on Michael Carter at all. I jammed him in last second. I hated myself for it, but it happens. Next time he'll probably crush. So it is what it is. It's DFS. We move on. We pick winners the next week.
That's right. Hey, that's right. We don't need to dwell. Last week was not great for anybody who played the cheap running backs. They didn't get there. Anybody who played, I don't know, a lot of these guys, Joe Burrow for me, did not get there. But that's all right. We're going to move on to week 13? Golly, how are we already in week 13? It is flying by this season. And I'll tell you, let's go ahead and get kicked off. We're going to stuff the pleasantries. We're going to move right on to the slate. Let's talk some quarterbacks because AP, I'll start with you because your boy Patrick Mahomes, he's the most expensive guy on the slate. He gets a matchup with the Bengals that is obviously good. $8,300. I don't think I'm going to be paying up for him. It might be in my player pool. I don't know if he's going to make my main team. What do you think about Mahomes in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs Bengals. This matchup was hurtful last year, especially in the playoffs. I mean, the Bengals swept Mahomes and the Chiefs last year. Just crazy. Had their number we'll see. I mean, the Chiefs side of this should be plenty motivated. And the thing about it, if you think about how those games played out last year, when they lost, they let their foot up off the gas. They like in the second half, like they had these big leads, and then it was like they went to the run and they stopped doing what was successful in the first half. I think if Kansas City, stays aggressive the entire game, that's what's going to need to happen for them to not, get swept for a third time by this Bengals team. So it does bring Mahomes into consideration, but that price tag is so high. We're going to need some value to make it work. We could keep an eye on, the injury situation, here, like if a few of these pieces are out again. It did look like Sky Moore was a piece that they're really trying to get more involved here. So in the right circumstance, how could you make a Mahomes build work? We know Mahomes is going to distribute it to a lot of different people. So like how I would do it with kind of the uncertainty on who's going to get the touchdown volume outside of Travis Kelce. Like if I had to stack Mahomes, it would be Mahomes to Sky Moore if like a Tony or MVS or one of these guys were out. And obviously it's so early. So much of this injury situation comes about on Fridays and Saturdays and then, Sunday too. But then, maybe Kelce in there. And that's, with Kelce, what you're getting. And then it's a bet on game script with a guy like Sky Moore. But that 3.1K price tag is the type of value that you're going to need to make a Mahomes build work. So looking at all the other quarterback options, though, again, first look, Justin Fields, if he plays, did you guys know if he's in or not?
Yeah, it sounded to me like he's trending toward playing, but man, oh man, do we really think that he's going to be? Well, go ahead, Locks.
I just think they're dumb to play him if they do.
I do too. I bet, and like the way Fields plays, like coming off of an injury, I'm going to be scared to play him. That's the thing. Like, can you really trust a running quarterback coming off the AC joint injury? I don't know if you can. And at 7,400, it's not like we're getting that discount now. So I don't know. AP, what do you think?
Like what I was going to say is, if he was fully healthy, I think that price tag, you could make the case, but I don't really get like them playing him. And so in that price range, I was big on Justin Herbert last week. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's like one of the better quarterbacks out there, but it's just so painful sometimes to watch him in these spots. I don't know if it's like a variance type thing, bad luck. I mean, the Chargers, they do run pretty bad, but they get a really nice matchup here against the Raiders. And there's a lot of ways to stack that game up. We like playing running backs against the Chargers. So just thinking of like a natural stack that would, you got your primary plus a run back, Herbert to Palmer, Allen, or even Everett. All of those pieces are fine. And then you got Josh Jacobs, who's just an absolute dog on that Raiders team. So like I see myself going back to Herbert here, even though he kind of let me down last week. I mean, he got there kind of at the end, but eating all that chalk definitely didn't do me any good. But all right, there's two really interesting decision points or conversation points on the slate that I see already. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say, but it's Deshaun Watson potentially, and then Mike White. Mike White looked phenomenal last week when he was out there. He was slinging around in bad weather. I was watching that game. It was like, man, it was raining, like it was like terrible weather, but he was getting it done. Now he gets a good matchup against a Vikings secondary that's not very good. So I do think he is in the discussion because Garrett Wilson is a stud. And then Elijah Moore was involved too. So an interesting stack that we could go to. I just don't know if it's like, is it just a recency bias thing? Is it like, we're all flocking to that, and then is it a spot that's going to bust? So a lot of interesting discussions this week at the quarterback spot.
Yeah. So Locks, when you look at this spot, like we like Mahomes, obviously, Hurts, he's not going to get much ownership. I'm not sure I can go there. Lamar has just been, he's just been bad. And now he gets this Denver defense isn't bad. So I can't imagine playing Lamar this week. Fields, I think it sounds like you're with us with the injury. I think Burrow on the other side of that Kansas City game is really interesting. AP brought up Deshaun Watson. 6,500. I wish he was cheaper. 6,500 also feels too cheap. So it's kind of weird. And then you get these quarterbacks in this Jacksonville-Detroit game, a big total there. And two cheap quarterbacks, 5,900 for Trevor Lawrence. And then you get Jared Goff at 5,300. Locks, who of these guys interest you?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting spot this week. I think it'd be different to go Burrow over Mahomes this week, and possibly because Chase was questionable last week and almost played. I think he plays this week, possibly. I don't know. Have you guys heard news on Chase at all?
I don't know. I'm assuming he plays with as close as he was last week, but that's just me guessing based on that news last week.
Yeah, because if he plays, I mean, I like smashing Burrow with Chase and just stacking that up and then run it back with Pacheco or something. Somewhere along those lines, just to get a little different there. Definitely like Deshaun Watson. I mean, at 6,500, he's coming back. Who knows? It's one of those spots where do you want to take the risk or do you not want to take the risk? Because we haven't seen him play yet this year. But he's got Amari Cooper. He's got Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's got Nick Chubb behind him with Kareem Hunt too. So definitely an interesting spot for him. He could go off, and at $6,500, I'll definitely take some shares of him. I'll be playing him for sure. I don't know if I'll be on this Detroit-Jacksonville game much. I just don't like those two QBs. I'd probably stick more with like the Jamal Williams running backs, maybe sprinkle in their wide receivers. I just never play those guys. And then I do like the Mike White call by AP. The guy did look good. Garrett Wilson's a stud. I called Elijah Moore getting a little bit more involved last week. I think he just continues to be. They got a good little young team there, and with Mike White running the show, they might be a little bit more dangerous because their defense is already good. So against Minnesota, I could see them popping off again.
I don't think I'm going to go with Mike White. Like he only threw the ball 28 times. He ran incredibly good to have 3 touchdowns. Like 5,400. If I'm going down there, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I'd probably rather play Jared Goff at 5,300. I know exactly who to pair him with. Amon-Ra. The matchup is really good. Lox is laughing at me. He's actually laughing at me.
Nah, not a full-on laugh. Just half laugh.
You're chuckling at me. And I think it's not good when Lox chuckles and AP just sits there completely silent.
I'm multitasking. I'm multitasking.
Like
AP, Goff or Mike White?
I mean, probably Mike White.
Yeah. Fuck you, Crane.
I can't.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
like,
what's like? Did Mike White put all right? Take away the Seahawks game. He like had a better game than Jared Goff has had all season.
I understand. I don't know. I think this Jets Vikings game plays a little lower scoring than other people do.
I could see that.
Yeah,
But then that doesn't make me want. I don't know.
Why? Okay, so why they came out aggressive? Like if we all knew they're going to come out this, I don't think anyone envisioned a game script like that in the weather that was going on. They came out aggressive, like they were not even running the ball. It was just like Mike White slinging around. Why? It was successful. Why would they change that? Especially that's the way to attack the Vikings.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get what you're saying.
My thing is it like are we fixated on the what did you do for me lately? Well, Mike White crushed. Is he going to crush again? I mean, it could be a spot where it just busts. I mean, look,
it's a great story. All right, it's a great story with Mike White. Do we really think that he's going to come out and throw 3 touchdown passes again?
Probably not.
But he's got Garrett Wilson.
Definitely.
I'm definitely playing Garrett Wilson this week. Don't get me wrong. Garrett Wilson he's way too cheap. But I don't know. He's going
to have to chuck the ball if Justin Jefferson's scoring 2 touchdowns over him.
I mean, you make such a good point because you can go Mike White. Like I hate playing Cousins. I love Jefferson, but like I hate like pairing him with Cousins because Cousins never gets there. You could just go Mike White, Garrett Wilson, run it back with Justin Jefferson, or you could just play Jared Goff, Crane.
Yeah, or you
don't have to listen to us.
You can play Jared Goff.
By the way, the guy I want to play is Joe Burrow. I was on him last week. It didn't work out. I'm probably going to go right back to him. In home dog quarterbacks against this high-flying Kansas City offense, like Burrow might throw the ball once again 40 times, getting Jamar Chase back. Burrow's going to be the guy for me that I like. And by the way, sneaky rushing upside. He had 9 carries last week. All right, let's talk some running backs. And, last week we had chief running backs that did not work out for us. We might have that option. We're still waiting on news right now. We don't know what's going to happen with Najee Harris. If he's going to miss Jalen Warren, Benny Snell, they're going to be interesting. Travis Etienne, he got injured last week. If he misses, JaMychal Hasty's going to be interesting. We don't know what's going to happen with Raheem Mostert. Do we go back to Jeff Wilson? I actually might do it. Josh Jacobs, he's questionable right now. That means you get Zamir White, Amir Abdullah. We don't know who's going to be the starter there. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen with Joe Mixon in Cincinnati. And if he misses, Samaje Perine got a lot of work last week. So we're still waiting on a lot of news at the running back position. But these spend-ups this week, AP, I think we might need some of these guys because Christian McCaffrey, if there's no Elijah Mitchell, he gets a phenomenal match with Miami. Austin Eckler, great matchup with the Raiders. Saquon, not the best match with Washington, but I don't hate it. Derrick Henry, I think he's going to be overlooked this week. And this Philadelphia offensive line or defensive line really struggles with these physical runners. And Derrick Henry is the most physical runner. And then we have Nick Chubb. Do we like running backs against Houston? Yeah. Do we like running backs who touch the ball 25 times against Houston? You better believe it. So, AP, we got a lot of expensive running backs that are in some really, really great spots.
Yeah, we do. And, just starting off with a couple of those, like I agree with you. Like Nick Chubb, the volume is just absolutely insane. We love running backs against the Texans. Maybe people get off of Chubb, like with Watson coming back. Maybe they think they're gonna let Watson do his thing against his former team. Why would they do that? We haven't seen this guy in forever. He could be terrible. Like he could absolutely suck. And if he does, they're still going to lean on Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, this duo, especially in a matchup against the Texans. They're going to want to just secure a win and move on in this spot. The best way for the Browns, with all the unknowns around Deshaun Watson, the only people that know how he looks right now is those in camp, practicing, whatever. We don't really know. I mean, unless you guys have an opinion on that. I think the way they get the win is give the ball to Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the NFL, and call it a game. Give him 22 plus attempts, and if he gets 22 attempts, he's going to put up a number here. He's going to get in the box, likely to hit that 100 mark, and that's what you want. The other guy, spinning up wise, I mean, man, Josh Jacobs looked phenomenal last week. I wanted to play him so bad. I got scared off just with the reports from practice and stuff. And dude just smashed, man. He's good. They have no other options, and so they're going to feed him. You got to run the ball against the Chargers. So I think the script lines up perfectly with what I see. And it's the Raiders are going to pound the rock. I think Justin Herbert is going to have to sling it. And so that's going to be a stack that I have a ton of interest in. The one other guy too, kind of in the cheaper range, I want your guys' thoughts because the Seahawks have been getting pounded by running backs. Kyron Williams seems to be the guy that they like. I mean, Cam Akers got some work too, but it does look like they like Kyron Williams. They got to run the ball a lot. Not a game that I love at all, but Kyron Williams, 5,200, definitely seems like an interesting play. Man, outside of that, right now there's not a ton of running backs I like. And so, I mean, I see myself being forced into some of these more elite tier running backs, and we're going to have to find value at the receiver position, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, it looks like there is a lot of value at the receiver position, but a guy value at the running back position, Locks. I've never seen Locks that animated. So I'm just going to test something out. Locks, are you going to turn into a bobblehead if I say the name Kyron Williams?
Maybe.
All right, because you did a big old bobblehead thing.
I'll definitely say yes. It's a guy I mentioned last week. They like the guy. He was hurt to begin the year, and I love that call. I even mentioned him. He was the only Ram I played last week, so I'll definitely be going back to him at 5,200. Yeah, he's going to be super low owned, and everybody runs all over the Seahawks. So I love that call. That's why I was shaking my head. That's why you saw that. So definitely, absolutely love that play. Another guy I like this week against Detroit is Travis Etienne. He's at 6,400, so I definitely like him if you're talking about that Jacksonville-Detroit game. Definitely got to be smashing in. We got the Jeff Wilson revenge narrative, but I'm not going to be going back to Jeff Wilson. He burned me last week a little. He got in the end zone, but still not what I needed. So yeah, looking at this right away, like I said, this is the first time I've opened this all week so far, and I'm going to be spending up here. I mean, guys like Nick Chubb against Houston. I'm going to be playing Austin Eckler against the Raiders. He's in a smash spot. It's just there's too many guys up here that I'm not going to spend down. Aaron Jones against Chicago, right above ETN. He's $6,900. So really, Aaron Jones and ETN together at 69 and 6,400. there's a little bit of a spend down for you at running back if you don't want to pay all the way up. But yeah, guys like Henry, Chubb, Eckler, those are my main focuses this week, probably.
Is Henry going to be overlooked?
I think
I don't see a way he's popular.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be popular, but I think he's in a smash spot. I mean,
AJ
Dillon ran all over in Philadelphia.
AJ Dillon, Brian Robinson a few weeks ago, like these physical big runners just crushed Philadelphia. And like that, like it doesn't get bigger and more physical than Derrick Henry. So I kind of love Henry this week at 8,100. And you mentioned ETN. The coach said that he expects ETN to play, and he's in an absolute smash spot. The chat says I'm taking a flyer on DeAndre Swift. Full slate, I can't do Swift. I can't do Swift on a full slate. AP, are you messing with Swift at all?
I mean, I'm just tired of like targeting these Detroit guys, like the running back situation. Could be Jamal, could be Swift. I mean, if I don't have to go there and I can go elsewhere, that's what I'm going to do. But if I do need some value, I guess that's why I was looking at a Kyron Williams, who's 5,200. So it's like, yeah, could one of these Detroit running backs get there? That they could. I think if you're multi-entering, you could get there, but they started like, God, they're working in what? Justin Jackson now too. So you have a like 3 running backs there. I mean, that's a tough situation to target. And so that's spots I like to avoid if I can.
Lox, anybody else for you?
No, not that I'm seeing on this first look. Not at all.
Yeah. There's just not a lot of value at the running back position this week. It seems like a lot of, you can try and make some of these guys work, like Cordero at 5,800. I guess like none of these Baltimore guys interest me. Baltimore running backs, just ignore them. Life's going to be easier. Yeah, you mentioned Kyron Williams. I guess like my argument for against Kyron Williams is how many points can we reasonably expect the Rams to score?
Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's the tough point. Like that offense is just terrible right now. So I mean, like, it's just tough for me to get behind Kyron. And like 5,200, I guess you're not really risking all that much. It's just that. So Crain, is it a slate where we want multiple spend ups at the running back spot? Like, are these running backs in a spot where, like, if you try to go with these value pieces and you get like 9 rushes for 55 yards, no touchdown, you're dust right then if the upper high tier running backs go off. Is that kind of what the week is that we're looking at, or
I think so. I think so. I mean, I look at these expensive running backs, and there are just so many that are in can't miss spots. I feel like you're going to need a couple of these guys. And here's the thing with Kyron Williams. If I'm playing 2 of these expensive running backs, now I've got a flex spot open. Okay, 5,200 for a flex. Now let's take a look at some of these receivers in the 5,200 range. George Pickens, Christian Watson, Garrett Wilson, Adam Thielen, Peoples-Jones, Drake London, like Treylon Burks. There are just so many of these like wide receivers in that low 5K range that I don't think I can get to Kyron this week. Lox, I see you shaking your head. Are you guys? I know you come on, get off Kyron. You don't need to do it.
Well, I'm persuadable. Come on.
It's Wednesday. We're all persuadable.
No, I'll still have Kyron Williams no matter what. You're making a lot of good points. There's just so much value at wide receiver this week, it seems like. So, I mean, are we on wide receivers? Can we talk about wide receivers?
Hey, real quick. The only way, so just looking at this and, really, really early, but the only way I could play like a true punt value is in like a specific game script. So like if we're playing Burrow stack to Jamar Chase, if he's in and good to go, we know we like Kelsey as a run back. The other guy in that script, maybe it's the Bengals are putting up points and the Chiefs have, anytime where the Chiefs, like it's Mahomes having to come from the behind or anything like that, or they're focused on the pass, which this is a game where I think they're going to be focused on the pass. It's Jerick McKinnon. He's the guy that they trust on passing work downs. They trust him as kind of a safety valve to get dump offs. So like in a certain script where I'm playing like Burrow and Chase, I could see myself running it back with like a Jerick McKinnon and a Travis Kelce. Outside of that, like it's like specific scripts and tournaments, if you're multi-entering, for me, like fully punted.
I don't think if you gave me 500 lineups, I would get to a McKinnon lineup.
I'm just saying, like, it's more of like a few, like when they are passing the ball, they don't trust Pacheco in there. They trust McKinnon. So that's just kind of what I've seen.
By the way, Pacheco touchdown.
Yeah,
He did.
how about 22 rush attempts? And I mean, he kind of got there, but man, the Rams were tough on the run.
When I had even money for a touchdown bet against Big T, he got there just fine.
First touchdown of his NFL career.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Go ahead.
Which game got moved to Sunday night?
Isn't that next week?
Yeah, somebody in the chat said, didn't the Chiefs game get moved? I think that's
next week, I think.
Yeah.
Just trying to clear that up for them because I see that.
Yeah. They should have flexed this Chiefs-Bengals game to Sunday night, but
all right.
I think instead we get what? We get Colts and someone? Cowboys, Colts?
Just, how do they do this, man? Like, how is it every week just awful?
All right, Sunday night, Cowboys, Colts.
Yeah, it's just, it's crazy. Let's get more Chargers and Chiefs. Let's just keep doing that. All right, let's talk some wide receivers because, up top, we get some tough matchup. Justin Jefferson against the Jets. The Jets have just been absolutely shutting the hell down out of wide receivers. So I don't know. Jefferson's always in play. I'm not sure he's going to be a priority for me. Tyreek Hill against a tough San Francisco team. I don't know. Lox, I'm going to start with you, man. If you're paying up at wide receiver, I like Jamar Chase. What are you doing?
Yeah, I love Jamar Chase just because I'm with you on Burrow this week. I'm pretty much lockstep with you there. I think I'm going to be jamming Burrow with Chase. If Chase isn't there, we still got T. Higgins and Boyd. So I'll be jamming that a lot this week. Justin Jefferson's going to get the sauce, so I don't know. I mean, I'm
off of Jefferson. Like, I might not play him at all. So.
I'm personally off of him too. I think he's going to get shut down this week. I'll probably make me go back to Hawkinson if I'm playing any Vikings on that side. But
man, you just killed my favorite play of the slate. I was going to be alone there on Hawk, and you just okay. Go on.
We'll get there. Don't worry about it. But yeah, definitely Chase I don't know if Cup's back. Cup's not going to be back yet, is he?
Even if he's back, like you can't pay $8,000 for a guy on the Rams.
Yeah, that's true. Amon-Ra every week. I have him every single week. I'll definitely have him in there. Keenan Allen against the Raiders. I mean, Keenan Allen's $6,500. I'm jamming the hell out of him. Terry McLaurin, I'm just going to keep smashing this guy. He's bound to break a slate one of these days.
Yeah.
They keep him under $6,000. I mean, at $5,800, I'm going to play him every week. I'll play him till he gets over $7,000. So those few guys are who I'm looking at right away here. Haven't looked much at the bottom tiers, but like Garrett Wilson, I'll be jamming him again. Christian Watson, it's hard to ignore, 6 touchdowns in 3 weeks. DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, we got Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball now, so he's interesting at 4,900. There's a lot of value. I think I'm going to be looking in the value range this week at wide receiver.
Yep, I'm kind of with you. I have one guy too that you didn't mention that's way down there that I'll get to in a little bit. AP, wide receivers, what are you liking?
Yeah, so looking at this Chiefs-Bengals game, if Jamar Chase is good to go and I'm going to have a ton of interest in him. Spagnuolo just can't help himself. He's so aggressive, loves to call blitzes. And we saw what happens when you run all-out blitzes. Joe Burrow, one thing he's very good at is, knowing where the one-on-one matchup is and just lobbing it up to a guy like Jamar Chase. And we saw what happened last time these two teams faced each other. I think Chase had 3 touchdowns, 200 and some yards. The dude absolutely broke the slate. I think he has that type of upside here. And we saw in the playoffs, the Chiefs try to take Jamar Chase out of the game. What did Joe Burrow do? This pains me talking up fucking Tony's team, but here I am having to admit it. Joe Burrow goes to T. Higgins. And if I actually hope Jamar Chase is in, because I think it's going to be a much more fun game to watch. It's going to be better for fantasy purposes. As a fan, I can hedge because I can go in on these Burrow stacks, and it eases the pain a little bit. If he owns me, I'll tell you guys that. It eases the pain. It's almost like a win-win. Win money and, to offset the Chiefs, potentially losing if they do. So, but no, in all seriousness, from just a scheme, knowing what Spagnuolo likes to do defensively, and he can't help himself. So, we know there's going to be opportunities where Chase is on an island, and that's what you want. So I would have, and coming off the IR too, that's going to make people worried about playing him. But if he's playing, I work under the assumption he's going to get his full workload. And if that's the case, he has massive, massive upside. So tons of interest in Chase here. Devontae Adams, the other spend up, the like target volume is just so good. I like this environment too against the Chargers. Already smashed. Going to get double-digit targets. It comes down to, can he hit that 100-yard mark, and can he get into the box? And he's the type of guy that can get into the box not once but twice. Has done it multiple times this season already. So Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, 2 spend up options that I have a ton of interest in. I'm always going to have interest in Jefferson, like tough matchup here for sure, but the guy's absolutely a stud. So how I handle that is I give him a fair projection. I'll probably bump up some of these other guys, maybe a little bit more, and I'll just see how the stacks line up, how the builds line up. So, and I agree with Locks, Garrett Wilson, absolute stud. I think this dude's going to be, a big time receiver, and just comes down to Mike White doing what he did last week, getting him the ball. And so, like Crain, I mean, was it Crain or you, Locks, that thought this game would go a little bit under the total?
I did.
Yeah. So
and it's Wednesday, so like I'm not marrying myself to any takes here, but just at first glance, I think the Jets kind of control this game and it goes under.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would be the script, if they do land. So does that mean we go back to Michael Carter?
I mean, is James Robinson going to get ruled out again 30 minutes before lock?
I know we're on the wide receiver, but yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think the value is going to be interesting though. Like you got, I don't know if you guys trust like the Bears situation, but all of their receivers are 3K.
That's what I was going to bring up. Chase Claypool at 3,800.
All right, Crain, sell us on your boy. You've been talking about Claypool for a while. Sell us.
It's simply a bet on the talent. Like he's got big playability. Look, they might only throw the ball 20 times, so it's not going to be a volume play. But there's no Mooney. Where the hell else are they going to throw it? Cole Kmet, I guess, Pringle is a thing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Claypool
he got himself a tutty last week.
Okay. I mean, Claypool is by far the most talented. He is by far the most talented, healthy receiver on this Bears team. He's only $3,800. Like guys like Claypool, who are that talented, don't come around for $3,800 very often. I don't love the spot, and he's not going to be a core piece for me, but he's cheap enough to where he gets you those 2 top running backs. And can he get you 20 DK? I think he can.
Hey, I have listened to Big T say, listen to Crane's wide receiver takes, so I'll have some Claypool.
I don't think it's not like this high probability play, but I think there's some upside here.
I know who we go to. So you got to think the Texans are going to be extra motivated, right?
Yeah.
Nico Collins. Finally, Nico Collins. Can we all 3 get on Nico Collins?
He's Nico Collins.
I've been on him all year.
I bet he's chalk.
I know, too.
I bet Nico's chalk this week.
You got Brandon Cooks is cheap too. I mean, that's going to be 5 targets last week. Like 10 to Nico, 9, 7, 10. He is going to be
Nico's had 26 targets in the last 3 weeks. They're playing in a dome against in a pretty good matchup, $4,200. Nico's going to be chalk. And I think he's going to be good chalk. He's just like the targets are just too much. Like he's the anti-Claypool, right? Like Nico, he's unlikely to bust some big play, but he's going to get the volume. I mean, he might get double-digit targets here at $4,200. Like I think he's going to be very chalky, but it's going to be hard for me to ignore that kind of volume.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing Nico this week. I mean, I've been playing him every week, so gotta stay on that.
Yeah, why not? I've played worse guys than Nico. The question is, do we gamble on Elijah Moore?
That's hilarious. So I just built the lineup, right? As we're sitting here.
Okay.
I got the winning lineup with the 3 wide receivers you just mentioned. Claypool, Collins, and Elijah Moore. Yeah, Nico Collins in the flex. I got Chubb and Henry at running back. We got Burrow with Jamar Chase. We got Hawkinson at tight end.
There, okay.
And then throw in the freaking Titans D at bare minimum. We're good.
Yep. That sounds like a lineup that I would build. Like that 100% sounds like something that I would do right there. It's okay. That's all right. It's all right. We'll chop a million. I can live with that. Lots of these other. Go ahead, AP.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, it does seem like a week to where, when you just think about how like build texture is going to look, spinning up at running back, maybe 2 value receivers and 1 high-priced receiver, then with a good quarterback that's going to give us a high floor, high ceiling. That does seem like kind of the path that's sticking out, on the surface.
Yeah, I mean, that's mid.
I mean, Locks, that's like the route that you just laid out, right? Two value receivers. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I
think that's the way it's looking. You're going to have those. You got to spend up a running back. I think these guys at the top are just going to have the games where they just smash those value guys at running back. I think this week.
Yeah, I think it's a very obvious way to build this week. It's going to be the correct way. If you want to get different, like, it's tough, man. Like, at running back, it's tough to gamble on some of these cheaper guys that don't have defined roles. And if you want to get different this week, that's how you're going to have to do it. So it gets very uncomfortable very quickly. I think I'm going to try and get different elsewhere. Let's see if that is at the tight end position, because we got Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. Of course, Andrews last week. He has done 4 weeks now. He's just done under 12 points. So I don't know. Like, matchup's tough against Baltimore. Kelce, you can get him for $1,300 more. If you're spinning up, that's where I would go. AP, is that where you would go?
I honestly might just lock him in. I know this game's going to be competitive. I like Kelce in these games where Mahomes is like tested and challenged. He leans on Kelce. The target volume is going to be insane. And if these receivers are healthy, like Tony, MVS, Juju, Sky Moore, there's just going to be so many dudes out there to account for that the opportunities are going to be there for Kelce. And if we like some of these value receivers, we're going to have to get, if I could lock in, like if Kelce, if I just think he's going to be the highest scoring tight end, and I think he's going to be that by a large margin, I can lock him in, mix and match some of these value receivers and try to get that part of the construction right. And that's just the path that I'm looking at right now. I know what Kelce's going to get us. And there's so many times where I punt at tight end and these guys just absolutely bust. And I'm just like, gosh, should have just jammed in Kelce or one of these other stud tight ends. So on the surface, that's the route I'm looking at, unless one of you guys can talk me into one of these 2K tight ends or something. Cause then that's the other route I like to go, is the absolute punt, tight end, spend up everywhere else. So for me, it's either or. And I'm probably eliminating that mid-range, the 4K, 5K guys.
I think we're both going to try and talk you into Hawkinson.
Yeah. He might be the one. 5-2. He might be the one exception, actually.
Yeah.
Because of the target volume.
Yeah. He's going to get a lot of targets. And if they're going to be shutting down, if we don't like Justin Jefferson, those targets have to go somewhere, right? Which means that it's going to be more for TJ Hawkinson at 5,200 locks. I assume that's why you like him too.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen him since he joined the team. He caught 9 out of 9 balls, 10 out of 7, or 7 out of 10, then 9 and 6 targets the last couple of weeks. He finally got in the end zone last week. He's been a guy that I've liked ever since he went to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins loves his tight ends, and Hawkinson's just too athletic. So, at $5,200, I still think that's too cheap for him. In my opinion, I think he should be in the Mark Andrews range. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but he should definitely be at least 6K. So I'll be jamming him in. Other than that, I'm with AP. I either spend up at this spot or I'll find a freaking $2,500 guy to throw in there and hope he catches a touchdown. Last week I did call Josh Oliver on Saturday on my Saturday Millie show. I said, watch out for Josh Oliver because he was min price and the dude actually didn't do too bad. So guys like that, I'll find a guy that's $2,600 and jam him in. Looking down here this week, I don't see anybody that really jumps off the charts at me that I'm seeing right now. Later in the week, we might have something open up. But as far as what I'm looking at Kelce, I'm looking at Hawkinson, and that's just my first 2 that I'm kind of seeing here. Otherwise, I don't have much interest down below.
Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to find anybody down here, and it's just, man, I don't think it exists. David Njoku's interesting at 3,900, 7 targets last week. But again, we don't know what the situation is going to be with Deshaun.
You know who I'm not playing, Crane?
Who's that?
Jack Stoll.
Oh,
Jack stole your money.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that. We're not.
That does bring up a good point, because now without Goddard in there, I mean, we like Hurts was already running a lot, but like I know we're way past this, but like, could you play like you guys both like Derrick Henry? What's wrong with like a Jalen Hurts and then Henry run back, just trying to capture all the rushing upside in that game?
I just think if I'm paying up at quarterback, can I really play Hurts over Mahomes?
Yeah.
I guess is my big question, because that with a game stack, he still has to outscore Mahomes though. That's that's the thing. People, you can game stack it, and game stacking is great and it serves a purpose, but he still has to outscore Patrick Mahomes. And the question is, do you think he can do that?
I mean, he could.
I know he could.
If he runs 2 touchdowns in 100 yards, I mean, he's definitely probably outscoring him. But yeah, it comes down to the game script, and I mean, how the Titans play defense. I mean, it might not be the best spot anyway. So kind of a run pass funnel, keep things in front of them. So maybe that's how they try to contain Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and the chat says Hurts is going to be really low on. Yeah, he will be. I get that. I just I also want to play the guys that I like, and I just can't play Hurts over those guys. Like, I'd rather play Mahomes. I'd rather play like Burrow over Hurts total fantasy points. I think is a close discussion, and Burrow's $1,100 cheaper. Like, I don't know.
Going back to Dulcich.
Golly, like
everybody keeps trying to jam him. I mean, is he
so
bound for a big game?
I mean, you just like you're going to be rooting for the Rams and the Broncos at this point. Like, you got to really question your choices.
The Ravens are going to be the team to somehow like give up a bunch of points to the Broncos. I bet like that team just they're just a weird team like that. It seems like in these spots where they should just absolutely crush against bad teams. It's like they let these teams like stay in it. So I'm not saying play. I mean, man, how bad is Russ? Like, that's just such a disaster of a situation.
I mean, they have no picks. They have like Seattle just fleeced them, and it's amazing how quick we were to crown Denver as the winners of that trade, and the Seahawks fleeced them. I mean, it's just like I cannot believe that the Seahawks chose Pete over Russ and were right. And that's essentially what it was. And they were the front office. Props to them. They were just correct on this one. And that's it's been wild. Dulcich, like, I don't know, like it's tough to play this guy. He had 9 targets one week. He's never had more than 5 any other week. I can't pick on any of these Broncos guys. Like last week, I tried to make Sutton work, and he did fine. He had 8 targets, 13 DraftKings points. He did fine. It's just, man, the upside on these Broncos guys is just so capped. Like, I don't know. I don't like Locks. Can you do Dulcich?
I don't think so. I know people try to make that a thing every week. And I mean, he's 3,400, so it's possible. I mean, they don't have anybody else other than Courtland Sutton, really, or Courtland Sutton, and maybe Hinton at wide receiver. So I'll have a little bit of them. The guy I actually didn't mention that I do like this week is Freiermuth, to be honest with you.
I have no problem with Freiermuth.
I have a little interest there at 4,300 against a terrible Falcons pass D. I mean, Pickett likes him. He's had 9, 7, 7, 12 targets last week. He only had 4, but I mean, that interests me for sure at 4,300 at the tight end.
So these discussions of these guys, like, it kind of ties back to a point that AP made earlier, where we're sitting here looking at Freiermuth. Oh, maybe he can get 15. Dulcich, if we get 13 or 14, that's great. Kelsey just puts up freaking
30,
25 every. Yeah, like it's
exactly.
I mean, Kelsey's floor is everybody else's.
Hey, think about last week too. He would have. They let that was a spot where they didn't need to push it. It was a game where you stay out, keep everyone healthy. You're gonna need everyone to be healthy against the Bengals. They did that. They accomplished that goal, and they let off the gas with Kelsey, and he still got us almost 16. So, I'm telling you, it's a spot where Kelsey could put up 30 plus. We know. I think he gets double-digit targets. So you're talking potentially 100 plus yards. He's getting in the box and a ton of receptions. So, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm locking. I think that's the box I'm locking, and I'm trying to figure out everything else this week, Crain.
Yeah, if you like Locks, I'll tell you, one other guy, because I do like Hawkinson. But Locks, if we only had Kelsey and Hawkinson in our player pools, I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, I'd be completely fine with that. If I'm playing 150, and obviously we're talking about winning a milli, so you want to be a little bit different than that. I mean, personally, I think just to get different other spots, but yeah, I mean, if I'm totally fine if those are the only 2 tight ends that I end up on, absolutely.
All right, let's talk some defenses. Locks, I know you like our Titans at $2,200. I kind of like the idea of saving money at defense this week. I don't think the Rams 2,300 at home against Seattle, like you can do worse than a near mid-price defense against Geno Smith. Houston at home against Deshaun Watson making his return at 2,300. I think that's fine too. Locks, are you trying to save money at this position?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be the same thing I do every week at defense. Unless I really see somebody in a smash spot, I'm never playing over like 3,500 for a defense. No chance. I try to find one in here that's under 3K that I think has the best chance of scoring a touchdown or getting turnovers and sacks, and then I'll just jam them. I can't get myself to spend up when you got to spend up at running back or all those other positions. So I'll be finding some teams down here. Tennessee is just the one I ended up on because I was trying to throw your guys' wide receivers in there with the stud running backs, and it just so happened I had $2,200 left. So there you go. And the Titans D isn't terrible, so I think they're definitely viable at 2,200, and they allow you to get to a lot of other places.
AP, looking at defenses, what do you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's our favorite position to talk about each and every week. I'm with Locks and lockstep with Locks. I try to find value at that position, and like I like to avoid the chalk if I can. It all just depends on how things shake out. Like I like how the Commanders defense has been playing 3,300 though. So if I like every other piece of my lineup and I got 3,300 left, I'm going to go Commanders. That's kind of how it is on the surface right now. But that's probably the toughest thing to decide. I think this early, right? Wouldn't you guys agree? Like because with defenses, we want to see what significant injuries. Maybe it's to the offensive line that could create more opportunities for sacks. We want to see. There's a lot of news yet to come before fully deciding and locking in a defense. So for right now, I don't have too many strong takes. I like the value ones if I can. If I got to spend up a little, I do like how the Commanders have been looking. But again, they're going against the Giants. Daniel Jones. I mean. He can throw interceptions, fumble the ball. So, I mean, I don't hate them at all. I think it's just going to depend on a lot of different things.
How about Minnesota defense against Mike White?
Yeah, I mean,
everybody's great hope. The great White hope.
3,700?
3,700.
I was going to say, I thought they were in the 2Ks.
I was going to say,
I just found
the Jets versus Kirk Cousins.
I just found a 0.5% defense against the quarterback who's made one start in a year and a half. I don't think that's the craziest thing.
That's not bad. It's just too expensive. I was going to say the Jets versus Kirk Cousins interceptions.
See, I'm weird. Everybody tries to save a defense. And, if these expensive defenses go off, you kind of need them. I don't know. I don't think it's crazy. If you can get up to Baltimore, Minnesota – I don't know. Kenny Pickett.
Bears of Jets 2,600. Locks. I'm on board with you.
I have no problem with. I have no problem with the Jets at 2,600. The Bears. I don't know.
The Bears if Jordan Love starts.
Yeah, if Jordan Love starts, the Bears are definitely.
What about the Bengals against Mahomes?
Yeah, I don't know if I get that.
No, thank you. No,
if you just, if you're
doing that, If you're doing that, I'd rather play Tennessee against Philly.
All right. The problem though is they don't throw the ball that much, whereas Mahomes is going to be chucking. It's my thought there, but
I think Atlanta's interesting too against Kenny Pickett. Pickett will chuck the ball. I don't hate that. Atlanta never really gets there, but I don't know. We're looking for touchdowns. We're looking for big plays against a quarterback that's a gunslinger. I don't mind that at all. I don't know.
Side question for Craig, because I know Craig loves soccer, and we've kind of allotted our time on the show. But if France loses, does this game matter at all? I got this game up.
I have no idea.
You're not even watching? Oh, what a good
I'm not.
What a good host.
I know.
France is losing right now to and I suppose they were heavy favorites, but
All right, let me take.
We got Crain looking. Love it.
Yeah, no, I got the phone out. Let's see, France. Oh yeah, France is definitely going to lose. I mean,
But are they're probably already in the tournament though, right?
I have no clue.
Aren't you the soccer guy out of all of us? I thought you're the big, like on Twitter. I see chatting up soccer all the time.
Definitely not me.
That's definitely not me either.
I do like soccer. I don't know. I like yesterday was fun with USA. I'm glad I didn't bet it because there was just so much money down on USA. I knew if I bet it, I was either going to bet the draw or bet Iran, and I just couldn't do it. Like I was gonna bet it, and then I'm like, you know what? I just want to be a fan today. So I had no money on the matchup yesterday, which is good because had I played DFS, I would have just loaded up on Iran and lost all my money, and I would have faded 95% Christian Pulisic, which obviously would not have worked either. And yeah, I might play some of this 1 p.m. showdown. I haven't been playing much the last few days, so I might hop into this 1 p.m. showdown. Why not?
I will say that was a fun game yesterday. I had it on in the background, but
good
to see that we could beat Iran.
Dude,
that's two goals in 3 games, right? That's exciting stuff, right?
Okay, anything with countries involved is more fun.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Thank you. Like we're at Saturday morning, we're all going to be up.
I was like the Olympics, so yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I had the game on yesterday on my other computer at work.
Yep. We're Saturday morning. We're all going to be up watching the Netherlands beat the Dutch. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be good times for USA soccer until they lose on Saturday, and then they'll be over, and Hook will be happy.
Oh, they're losing? What?
They're going to be big dogs. The Netherlands. We got to be big dogs. Hold on.
One other defense before we go.
Go ahead.
The Steelers against Atlanta at $2,600.
Oh, I like that. I'd get on board with that.
Somebody in the chat said it, and I fully agree. So I wanted to put that one in there for you guys.
All right, USA is plus 350 to win.
All right, good stuff.
In other words, we're all making $350 on a $100 bet. That's what we're doing. Go USA! We got to get out of here. It's been fun. AP Locks, thanks for joining me. Thanks, Simon, for producing. I'm Eric. Catch y'all later. Peace.